Hi, my name is James Shepard, and this is a merchant sales tech tip where I dive in and show you technology that is changing the landscape of merchant sales. Today, I want to show you remote access to a terminal for the purpose of support and understanding the status of the terminal. So this one is brought to you by Valor Paytech. I love their cloud-based solution, but I mainly want to talk to you about the idea of serving your merchants well when they have an issue, being able to quickly get them back up and running without having to physically go to the location and lose a ton of prospecting time. So what I have in front of me here is a MacBook with the ISO dashboard. So you're gonna see this is what it looks like if you're an ISO. And here you have a VL100 that's set up on a test merchant account underneath that ISO so that you can see what it looks like to get remote access into a terminal from the cloud. Today, I want to talk about remote access to the terminal. So let's head down to device management. Now in device management here, we see at the top, this VL100 terminal, that is the terminal that you see right here. So I can do a lot of different things with this terminal. Now, one of the really cool things that I can do is I can look at the screen here and I can actually see when it's working and when it's not working. So I can take a quick look. I can see the last time we did a parameter download. I can see if it's active. I can see all types of interesting things. If I click over here on the three dots though, I can actually click on something called view heartbeat. Every little bit, what's gonna happen is the terminal does what's called like a heartbeat. So it kind of communicates with the cloud and says, hey, I'm still here, you know? And when you look at it here, you can see it's connected over Wi-Fi, 53% signal. So you can see that this terminal has gotten a little bit farther away from the Wi-Fi router. That would be incredibly helpful when the merchant says, I can't process transactions, I have no connection. You can look at this and say, well, that's because your Wi-Fi is at 8%. You know, you don't have a good connection with your Wi-Fi. You can also see that there is no pin pad on this particular device. And again, you can see a lot of other interesting things here. Let's go back though to the device management, click on the three dots again. And this time we're actually gonna click on edit parameters. Now this is where things actually get really fun because you can go in here and you can edit just about anything. So all of the settings that are on the device, you can clearly see them right here. You can make adjustments and changes to them. And when you get done with those adjustments and changes, you can save it, and then you can go and update the terminal, which I'll show you here in a minute. Being able to change parameters is extremely helpful and beneficial. I'm gonna give you a quick illustration of this by implementing tax. Okay, so it's just an obvious, simple one that we can implement so you can take a look at it. Now, I'm gonna ring up a $1 transaction here before I make a change. So right now, if you look here, we have the tax turned to no. So let's take a look here. We'll ring up a $1 transaction. Now I had this set up for dual pricing. And so we have a card price of $1.04 and we have a cash price of $1. We click enter. It's gonna take us here. Now, if you've been following my content, you know that I'm actually not a big fan of what we see on the screen right now because we actually are showing the non-cash charge here. But I wanted to show you this because that's actually here in the back end that there's a non-cash charge. So all of the settings, whether you want to be dual pricing, compliant surcharging, non-cash adjustment, those are all available here in the back end. But in this case, I just want to show you this. We're gonna click on OK. And now we would put in our card, we would run the transaction and it would be done and we'd run the transaction for $1.04. So now let's go back into the dashboard and let's implement a tax. So we're gonna click on yes for tax and we're gonna say that there's a state tax of 4%. All right, so that'll just make the math really easy. We'll make it 4%. You know what, actually I'm gonna change it. We're gonna make it 10%. So again, just to make the math really, really easy, we got a 10% state tax, which would be pretty high, okay? Also, we're gonna include tax for cash transactions. We're gonna click on yes. We're gonna include tax on all the transactions, okay? So now, we're gonna scroll to the bottom, I'm gonna click on save. It'll say device updated successfully. Now, what that means is that the device settings, the parameters here have been updated successfully. Now I gotta go to my terminal, and I'm gonna click on this star, and then I'm gonna go down to number 6, which says download package. So I'm gonna click on 6, and then I'm gonna click OK, and it's going to download the parameters for me and reset the device, and then I'll show you what it looks like now that we have tax enabled. Now that the device parameters have been updated from the dashboard over into the device, let's try to ring up a $1 transaction now. And look at that. Now we have a card price of $1.14 and a cash price of $1.10. So we still are accounting for the tax, but now we're adding the additional differential for the cash versus the card price. If I choose that I want to pay with a card, it's now going to actually show me all the information here. So it has my $1 amount, my 10-cent state tax, non-cash charge of 4 cents, and on down the line. And so as you can see here, this is how you can log in remotely, change something in the parameters. All the merchant has to do is hit *6 enter, and it'll update all those parameters on the device. Now, I showed you one little example of it, but again, there obviously are many, many different examples of issues that the terminal might have, changes that need to be made, tip adjust, server management, all of that can be handled in the dashboard and then sent to the terminal. Now, I really believe in Valor Paytech. You can head over to valorpaytech.com to learn more about them, but I do believe this is really the model that we're going to see moving forward. There's simply no reason to require some kind of over-the-phone conversation with the merchant and have the merchant typing a bunch of numbers in and using the letter pad and all that to be able to make a change to the device. We want to be able to make those changes remotely, push them to the device, have the merchant simply hit a couple of buttons to update the parameters, and then we're all set and ready to move forward. My name is James Shepard. This has been a Merchant Sales Tech Tip.